All right, Salakia for the technical difficulties, man. Go ahead, clap it up. All right, this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. This is the Tuesday Brotherhood class, man. We're going to get into these scriptures. Hey, brother, first go to the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 30. Let me go ahead and get it pulled up on my end. See, today we're gonna talk about brotherhood and sisterhood and how we need to be. We need to be the change that we want to see when it comes down to us loving one another, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. So once you got it, Baba Kasha.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 30. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and that thy whole body should be cast into hell.
All right, so most people probably don't understand what this precept is talking about, right? This is a brotherhood precept. It's saying, and if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. And it said also, if from thee. See, a lot of us don't understand what this is talking about. It is a precept about offending someone. This is a precept about not offending your brother or your sister. See, if thy right hand cut it off. Okay, no sorry. If your right hand cut it off and cast it from thee, it says cast it from thee. It's like that. For thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. See, let me just break this down in layman terms. Do you know what could be considered as your right arm that offends you? Because we're talking about being a change right now, right? To become the person that the Most High wants you to become, you have to cut off certain things. You have to stop doing certain things. For instance, drugs, eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, listening to people that tell you to do these things. What is being offended? Go ahead. Right? If you're in the truth and someone tells you to eat this pork, does that offend you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm not supposed to eat pork.
So what do you do with somebody that eats pork?
Stay away.
You stay away from them because whose laws, statutes, and commandments are you following?
The Lord.
Right.
Okay. So
that's like a right hand offending you.
Okay, so that's what that means by
you cut that off. You cut things off that is offensive to the Most High God. That's like you used to chill with all your partners, right? Yeah. But your partners used to all smoke. Yeah. And they trying to get you to do what? Why are they trying to get you to smoke? Right. Because that's what y'all have always done all these years. So you got to learn, when you come into the school, you got to learn how to cut things off. See, if you are sitting here allowing people to sway you left and right, then you'll never follow the Most High God. What's good?
Okay, I got a question. So, like when it came to,
okay.
When it comes to direct family, like brothers and sisters,
right?
You cut them out, right?
So,
is it a cutoff like? Cause like I cut my brother off, but he still, texts, how you doing, what's up?
Right.
But I know me, I'm not there yet, to even engage in a conversation because I start caring. So
Okay.
how do you? That's what I'm saying. Like, how do they come back? I don't know. I don't know how to put it. Like, I'm supposed to go a whole life without my blood brother, or
Okay.
how do you? I don't know how you even get back to the lines, or do I make him change, or like I don't.
Okay. So once you okay, so you're a young man. So right now you're in the midst of you're in the middle of trying to navigate everything, right? Okay. What does the scripture say about my mother and my brother? Who is my mother? Who is my brother? Those that do the will of my father is my mother and my brother, right? All right. So right now, you are trying to change yourself for the better. In changing yourself for the better, you have to learn how to cut off certain communication to become the new creature that the Bible told you to be, the follower, the true follower of the Most High God. So right now, when I got into the school, I stopped chilling around my partners that smoked weed. You want to know why? Because that was one of my biggest demons when I was in the world. One of my biggest demons was smoking weed. One of my biggest demons was sitting here, going to clubs, getting drunk, doing all kind of things that we was not supposed to do, popping pills, doing all kind of. So what I ended up doing is I stopped chilling around those people. You want to know why? Because it wasn't for the betterment of me being the new person that I was supposed to be. Now, am I saying never talk to those people again? I'm not saying that. Because the more you get into this truth, the older you get in this truth, the more comfortable you get with following the Most High God, you'll be able to go back around them and not get enticed by smoking weed, not get enticed by eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, not getting enticed by the things that they're doing because they don't want to follow the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why the Bible says that it's profitable for you to cast off that right arm than for your whole body to be sent to hell. If you don't learn how to distance yourself from these worldly things that are keeping you from the Most High God, then you're going to fall back into the trap. And once you fall back into that trap, then you as a person, the whole person is going to be what? At a lower state. You're going to be put back into what? Hell. The same thing that you're trying to get out of right now by following the law, statutes, and commandments. So you got to understand that sometimes you got to distance yourself from certain things and certain people. See, that's one of the biggest problems that we have right now with brothers and alcoholism, right? Brothers that are alcoholics, they have a huge problem right now. You want to know why? Because they feel like they're functioning alcoholics. They don't understand that you drinking to the point where you become you're drunk, that you're no longer making sense. They don't understand that, because at the end of the day, they don't see nothing wrong with it. That's the same thing with somebody that's a weed head or a pot head. That's the same thing with somebody that is what you call a crackhead. They don't see nothing wrong with it because in their eyes, they're functioning. Oh, I can still do this. I can still do that. There ain't nothing wrong with it. Why y'all own me so badly? They don't know that they have a serious problem. So at that point in that time, you have to learn how to cut things off, because if you don't, then you're going to naturally put yourself in a predicament that you can't get out of. What do they end up doing? They drink until what? They get drunk, and now all of a sudden, what are they doing? Because they think they're functioning, now they're behind the wheel of a car. Now they're driving places and they're talking to people. And now what? They done got into an accident. Because they don't know how to cut those things off. They feel like, man, if I had 1 or 2 drinks, I should be all right. But what does 1 and 2 drinks become? 3, 4, 5 drinks. What about somebody that smoke weed? Man, you know what, man? I could take about 1 or 2 blunts. That ain't bad. But what does 1 or 2 blunts end up becoming? A whole ounce. And now all of a sudden, do you have money to do anything else? Now you sitting here, what? Trying to ask your family members for money because now you're trying to get your next high. What about them pill poppers? What do? They start popping them jiggers. They start popping them bars until what? Now one bar don't do it for you. Now they need something else. They need that to function. And to the point of them ODing. There's more ways to OD than what you think. As an alcoholic, you can sit here and drink until the point you pass out. A pill popper, you can pop pills until what? Your heart stops. You have to learn how to cut that off. If their right hand offends thee, understand this. When it's saying that right hand offending thee, understand if you're not following the laws, statutes, and commandments, that's offensive to the Most High God. So the right hand we're talking about, it's locked in. The camera done shifted. The water. If thy right hand offend thee, if all these things that I like to do in the world offends the Most High, I need to cut it off. It's better for me to cut this off than for me to cast myself at a lower state because I don't know how to be strong. Go ahead.
You know, like, well, what I think about when you talk about that is like somebody that got a diabetic sore.
Right.
You know, basically, like, I got a homeboy, he got a diabetic sore on his foot.
Right.
And he in the hospital. And they told him he should get it amputated because it's turning into the flesh-eating bacteria.
Right.
So he refused to get it amputated. So now they talking about putting him in the oxygen chamber.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think about, you know, either, you know, you just cutting the right arm off or, you know, you headed to being unalive.
Right.
You know, and the oxygen coming from the Most High.
Right.
Yeah.
Because what is life? Life is to do what? Based off of what you said, what is life?
Follow the laws.
Following the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. What is death?
I follow.
Disobeying the Lord.
Yeah, disobeying.
And it's just like what you said. It's just like somebody that has cancer or somebody that has diabetic problems. If they don't sit here, say for instance, if somebody has the sugars, as we called it, and they have to they supposed to amputate one of their limbs to keep their whole body from having to, you know, deal with the ailment. And they decide, I'm not going to do it. Then what happens? Their whole body starts what? It starts all getting eaten up. And now all of a sudden, now instead of just cutting off the foot, now they got to cut off the whole leg. That's the same thing with following the laws, statutes, and commandments. If you don't learn how to cut off the things that are against the Most High God, then you're going to get cut off. Your spirit is going to leave. That's why you have to learn how to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments and cut off the things that are going to cause cancer throughout your whole body. When you start seeing those things start happening, you got to nip it in the bud right then and there. That's how you become the change that you want to see. You got to learn how to cut stuff off first. You got to learn how all these things, if it's not good for me, I don't need it around me. Go to the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 13. Yeah, the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 13. Yeah, I'm ready.
The book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate.
Mm-hmm.
For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction.
It says what?
For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction,
Keep reading.
and many there be which go in thereat.
Keep going.
14. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way, which leadeth unto life.
Understand this. What is the Bible saying right now?
It's a real thin line.
It's a real thin line between what?
Righteous and unrighteous.
Life or death.
Life and death.
It says, enter ye in at the straight gate. See, it's telling you that there's a thin line between life or death. But see, broad is the way of what? It says broad is the way of what? Destruction. But that narrow path, that thin line, that's the way to life. This is why we have to learn how to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments and keep that in our chest every single day. Because if you start listening to everybody, all these different doctrines and all these different things that people have to say, then you'll start following anything. You'll start believing anything. You have to learn how to follow that straight and narrow path, that path that everybody can't follow. Because everybody gets distracted along the lines. But you have to stay focused. You got to walk that straight and narrow path. You can't worry about what everybody else got going on. You got to worry about you following the law, statutes, and commandments. You got to worry about you sitting here and not being swayed left and right. You got to walk that straight and narrow path for yourself. You're not doing this because you want everybody to see, oh, look at me, I'm just this great person. No, you enter ye into that straight gate, because broad is the way of destruction, but that straight and narrow is the way of life. Following the law, statutes, and commandment is how you get life. Not eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, not selling drugs in your community, not doing drugs in your community. You sitting here loving your brother as yourself. When I say your brother, I'm talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. You teaching people how to love their brother and their sister is the straight and narrow path, man. We have been taught for so long to hate one another. We have been taught for so long to get over on one another so that way we are good. But we have to learn how to make sure all our brothers and sisters, the 12 tribes of Israel, are good. That's that path that we were never taught to do. We was never taught to do what Zephaniah 2:1 said. We were never taught to gather ourselves together, O nation that's not desired, and to love one another. When you was a child, was you taught that the 12 tribes of Israel were the most important people on the face of this earth? When you was a child, were you taught not to eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster? When you was a child, were you taught to sit here and love one another when it comes down to your people? Because I know when I was a child, we had blacks versus Mexican fights. We were taught to hate Hispanic brothers and sisters. We were taught to go against them because they didn't like us from the beginning. And they were taught the same exact thing. What you got, bro?
Shoot, coming up the way we did, everything that was unlawful was considered creme de la creme.
It was a delicacy.
It was a delicacy. Everything. It like the way of life. You know what I'm saying? Going to the strip club, making it rain, the food. You know what I'm saying? All of the different entertainment, because we was taught in order to elevate in this society, you got to be multicultural.
Yeah, you gotta be able to eat. You gotta be able to eat caviar. You gotta be able to sit here and make the shrimp platters. If you was in New Orleans, you gotta know how to do the shrimp etouffee. You gotta know how to do the crawfish boils. Right. But all those things was against the Most High God. All those things made you broad, which led us to destruction. I know for a fact when we were kids, man, hey, every boy wanted to be a pimp. Every boy wanted to be a pimp. They wanted all these women on their hips. They wanted them making money. They wanted them to send them the money back. And you better not ever say a word. We were all taught to be players. We was all taught to be max and pimps and all these other things. Instead of understanding that every woman that you sleep with, that's not your wife. Now you have a duty to protect her. You have a duty to teach her. We wasn't taught that. The sisters, you know what the sisters were taught? All the little girls was taught to what? They was taught to play this dude, get money from him, get money from him, get money from him, give him only a little bit, give him some of you, and then give him all of you. So you taught our daughters to be whores, and you taught our men to not care about women. That was the broad aspect of things. That's how everybody thought broad. Everybody thought you only had one life to live. Everybody was screaming YOLO at one point. But little do you know that your YOLO lifestyle was being a hoe and being a whore in the eyes of the Most High God, your Father. He saw you walking that broad path when he said the straight and narrow is the way of life. We chose darkness. We chose to be in darkness. And the Bible is letting you know broad is the way of destruction. Trying to be creme de la creme, stepping on everybody to get above, that don't do nothing for you but cause destruction. And you have to learn how not to be that type of person. We were raised up in sin. We was raised up thinking that sin was good. And to be righteous was bad. We was raised up to be like, we was raised up to think if you was righteous, you were weak. If you were righteous, you were lame. Everybody that sat here was like, man, I ain't finna sleep with everybody. Like, you know what? I'm gonna hold on to this. I'm not gonna just give myself up to anybody. What did y'all, we all men up in here, what did y'all used to call the girl that wouldn't have sex? Was y'all dating her? Y'all wasn't dating her. Why? Because she wasn't going. Yeah, you like, oh, you little snob, you uppity. Like, what the hell wrong with her? Why am I talking to Keisha that's not trying to come off of nothing when I could be talking to Lucretia over here, and I know Lucretia giving out that mouth. And that was wicked, dog. But that was the way we were raised up. And we were raised up to think so broad, so far gone that we didn't know what righteousness was. And the scripture said what? Broad was what? It said, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which goes into thereat. Because the straight gate, in the 14th verse, it says, because the straight gate and the narrow is the way which lead unto life. But what does it say right after that? Go ahead and read that. What does it say right after that?
And few there be that find it.
And what?
Few there be that find it.
See, you want to know what's crazy right now? We are the few that found it. We are the few that found that straight gate. Because I'm going to tell you now, I didn't think about that straight gate when I was sitting here going to the Christian church. I thought about eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. I thought about macking. I thought about sitting here sleeping with multiple different women. I was thinking about threesomes. I was thinking about selling drugs. I was thinking about all these things that were wicked. But when I came into the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, I started understanding that, hey man, there's a straight line right here. And this line right here is letting you know, hey man, there ain't no drug dealing in this truth. There ain't no eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. There ain't no having sex with multiple women and throwing them away. There ain't no being a whore if you a daughter of Zion. You know what you need to do? You need to learn how to straighten up and be a real man. And being a real man is knowing how to say no. Knowing how to cut off certain things because it didn't have your best interests at heart. You had something out?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And this kind of on the pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. I was at work the other day and we been getting smacked. But long story short, I heard them speaking and I didn't really jump in because I'm not there yet to even explain it. But they were saying that in the Bible that the Lord told Peter that he could eat uh he could eat, and these not the exact word, but basically he could eat it, but eat the unclean because that was all they had. Do you know about?
He was talking about the vision. He was talking about the vision that Peter had. And he said, why call these things unclean, which I deem clean? But Peter did not eat.
He didn't eat.
No. You want to know why? Because in that vision, it doesn't mean that was what that was. Those things are unclean. Why in a book, why did it say that those things was unclean, but in a vision, it became clean? Because what was that? Peter was being what? Being tested. But what did he do right after that? He didn't eat of it. Because he knew for a fact that the law, statutes, and commandments told him not to eat of those things. So yeah, you're gonna have people that's going to pull that and say, hey, you can eat of that, but those things are unclean to the Most High God.
I think it was Luke 4.
Right. Those things are unclean to the Most High God. That's people trying to lead you astray. And here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we're not going to lead you astray. We're not going to tell you to do something that the Bible did not say. We're not going to tell you that, you know what, just because of this vision, now you can eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. We're not going to tell you that. We're going to tell you the hard things because it's easy to sit here and be like, oh, well, this is what I see. Based off of that, this is my interpretation of that. You got something, bro? Go ahead.
And just for clarification, so that's from Acts chapter 10. Acts chapter 10. And that vision was about Cornelius. Because if you go to the beginning of that chapter in Acts chapter 10, verse 1, that's the whole subject of it. It says there's a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band, a devout man and one that feared God with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always. So he was a devout man, right? But he, just like majority of the brothers, he was of the northern kingdom. He was considered a Hellen, right? A Gentile, right? Because remember, there's a difference between ethnos and Hellen. Ethnos is the rest of the nations. Hellen is dealing with our people, right? So when he had that vision of clean of unclean animals, and the angel told him to eat, he was basically saying, "Fear not, this is your brother." Though he didn't keep his culture from the beginning, you know what I'm saying? Embrace him because he's your brother, and welcome and go into his house. Because Peter, he was different from Paul. Paul was all about going to the northern kingdom. Peter wanted to get the Jews right.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what that was.
Let's go to the book of let's finish off that Matthew's. Let's go to Matthew 7 and 15. Because we just got done with breaking down and saying that which leadeth unto life, and few there will be that find it. Well, read that next part.
The book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in the sheep's clothing.
Beware of who?
False prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing.
So beware of those people that tell you it's okay based off of that vision. See, like the brother Officer Tajadak just gave you a breakdown of it. He gave you more in depth on that whole precept right there. Your Christian pastors, what would they have told you? If he saw it in his vision, then what? Right.
That's basically what he, and I stayed out of it, but I was just like, nah, that's not.
Right, because they're not going off of the full context.
Yeah.
They don't go off of full context. They go based off of their feelings on it. Because inwardly, who are they worshiping? They're worshiping their father, the devil. What is a devil? It's a deceiver. So in their mind, what? Oh, I don't need all the context. It says right here that it was a vision, and don't deem anything unclean that I deem clean in a vision. But they don't have the context behind everything. So at the end of the day, they're now telling you eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, which is what? Unlawful. Which is what? A sin, a transgression of the law, which is now making who upset with you? Your father. Because the Most High God told you to do what? Not eat it. It says, beware of those people that are what? It says, beware of who?
Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep clothing, but inwardly they are raving wolves.
Ravening wolves, ravening wolves, right?
Ravening wolves.
Right. Beware of those false prophets. Beware of those people that are telling you to go broad when the Most High God is telling you to go down this narrow path. See, the Lord is telling you, you see this path right here? Don't eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Don't sit here and do drugs. Don't sit here and go against what I have for you. Learn how to love one another. Learn how to be there with one another. And you know what you have people in your back of your head telling you? Hey, bro, don't worry about that. Hey, man, you ain't got to worry about that because, you know, we got you. Yeah. Nah, man, eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Eat that crawfish. Eat that catfish. Man, don't worry about it. The Lord, he'll forgive you. The only thing you got to say is, Lord, forgive me, and get baptized, and you straight. But the Bible tells you the Lord doesn't hear sinners. Why? Where? Okay, so this is one of the questions that I always had. So if the Lord deemed everything good, when Christ died, he died for all our sins, and we all are forgiven. Now we're not under that no more. We don't have to deal with those things. So why is there still sin? Can someone still sin? Why do I need to get baptized for my sin when there is no more sin? That's what made me, when I used to go to the Christian church, that's what I used to ask. Y'all always say we all fell short of the glory of God. But if Christ died on the cross for my sins, according to what you're saying, then I don't have nothing else that I really gotta deal with, because everything's done away with. That's what you're teaching the people. That's why you telling the drug dealers that they good to sit here and spend their drug money with you, because at the end of the day, their sins will be forgiven. But if everything's done away with when Christ died, then do they need to come to y'all for forgiveness? Does the girl that's on Bissonnette selling that mug for $40, does she need to come and get baptized? What you got, bro?
Nah, and it's crazy because it's like after baptism and they go deeper in sin
Yeah.
because they feel like it's eradicated or they feel like they did away with it by washing it off of them.
Yeah.
So they could refill back up and just go wash it off again.
Bro, that's what everybody did. Everybody did that when we was in the church. We thought the baptism means we start fresh all over again. Do you know how many times we all got baptized? Because we were listening to them wolves in sheep clothing. You know how many times people got baptized? We went out and did wickedness. We went out there. There was people out there robbing, stealing, and unaliving. And then the next day, they did that on Saturday, and on Sunday, they was up in church getting baptized so that way they start anew. You got to be aware of those people, those false prophets that act like they're sheep, but really, they're wolves in sheep's clothing. They're acting like they're just like you. But really and truthfully, they just licking their chops, waiting on you to do wickedness so that way they can what? Throw you under the bus. Beware of those people, man. Beware of those false prophets. You cannot be the change that people need to see to really start following the Most High God if you're listening to people that don't give a damn about being with the Most High God. They don't really care. The church is one of the wickedest places on the face of this earth. The Catholic Church, the synagogues, all these places, the most wickedest things happen there. So you really think that they're followers of the Most High? When did the Most High say it's okay for a priest to sit here and deal with a young child? When did the Most High say that? Because I know in the Bible it says if a man lay down with mankind as he does with woman, then he is abomination unto the Lord. But why is your pastors and why these popes and these Catholic priests got these boys on their knees giving a different prayer? Why do you think these rabbis around here sucking on baby rod? Y'all think that that's of the Most High? Y'all got to beware of these false prophets, man. Because these false prophets are doing nothing but teaching y'all the broad ways, the ways of their father, who is the deceiver, the devil. That straight and narrow path is the way of life. Stop listening to everybody. Stop thinking that everybody has the truth, because they don't. Everybody does not know the Most High God. These people don't even know how to say the Most High's name to where he can hear them. So like it, we're gonna keep it going, man. Let's go to the book of James, chapter 1, verse 8. The book of James, chapter 1, verse 8. Once you got to go ahead and read from Baba Kashaw.
The book of James, chapter 1, verse 8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
A what?
A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Why do you think the Bible is talking about a double-minded man? What is to be double-minded?
To basically, well, I'm just thinking, to basically believe in multiple things, or to Yeah, they had to have different theories on different things.
Right. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. If you sit here and think about all these different things, so not only, okay, you a Christian, you a Baptist, you a Israelite, you are a Egyptologist, you are part of the conscious community. If you are all those things in one, what do you believe in? What do you believe in at that point? You don't know what to follow because your mind is everywhere. You can't be double-minded. It's just like the Bible when it says a man can't serve two masters because you're gonna love one and hate the other. You cannot be double-minded. You can't sit here and say, I'm gonna follow the law, statutes, and commandments, but yet I'm gonna still be a whoremonger. You can't sit here and think, okay, you know what? There is a God, but then you got Zeus and Hades and all these other different gods. You gotta pick. You gotta choose one. Because at the end of the day, if you're double-minded, you will never sit here and focus on the one true thing you're supposed to focus on. What you got?
Okay, so when you had a word, the word is that's what we follow, right?
Okay.
But it's not considered double-minded to have references to the, because I mean, to have history outside of the word.
That's not being double-minded. Huh?
Oh.
So, say for instance, right? If you're talking about having reference points, because here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we deal with the book, the Babylon and Timbuktu. We deal with who is Edom, the mask of Edom as well. Like we have books that reference the things that are in the Bible. Being double-minded is believing in more than one thing. That's why I say you can't sit here and be an Israelite and be an Egyptologist as well. Because it's one or two things. It's either you're going to believe solely on what the Egyptology is telling you, or you're going to believe what the Bible is telling you. You done saw it. Captain Cesariak done had battles with Egyptology. And you know the Egyptologists, the people that's with Egyptology, they don't believe in the same thing the Israelites believe in. They have their own stuff. They have their own symbols and their own gods that they sit here and they go based off of. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be double-minded. You can't believe in multiple different things at one time. You have to solely stay on that straight and narrow path, because your mind is going to go elsewhere. It's so easy for our minds to go elsewhere because we want to think that we're so deep. Everybody wants to try to be so deep and so philosophical to the point where you lose everything. And that's what we all have a problem with. We all try to be the deepest. We try to be the most philosophical person you can find. Like, bro, there was a time frame that when we used to get high, we done come up with new revelations, dog. And that whole time, we were lost souls. We were lost. What you got, bro?
This is the Strong's Concordance definition for double-minded. Strong's Concordance number is 1374. The word is disputatious. DIPSUCHOS, meaning double-minded, or in actual definition, wavering, uncertain, doubting, divided in interest.
The water, brother. See, y'all can always look for Officer Tazadak to sit here and bring up the Strong's Concordance numbers. And yeah, Like that's one thing that brother gonna do. He gonna definitely give you the definitions on it. You can't sit here and be double-minded. You can't sit here and say you believe in God, but you doubt if God is real. You can't sit here and say, man, hey, I believe in Christ and everything that he said, but you know, is that really, is he real? Man, hey, I believe in God, but man, I ain't never seen him. I don't know if he real or not. You can't be double-minded, bro. It's either one or the other. You can't be lukewarm. It's either be all or nothing at all. Because the Bible said if you are a double-minded man, it says that what? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. If you are teeter-tottering, if you are wavering, if you have a lot of doubt, bro, then you'll never believe stuff. You'll never sit here and really deal with the stuff you're supposed to deal with. The Bible tells you to be sober. It's letting you know, bro, you don't have to sit here and be on drugs. But somebody that feels like they functioning, oh man, you know, hey, I'm better off when I'm high because it keeps my mind from wondering so much. But while you high, what happens? You thinking about all these different things at one time. Again, it's like an alcoholic. Somebody that's drunk all the time. They feel like what? They're functioning alcoholics. They feel like that everything is okay. But what does everybody else see? Somebody that does not know how to control themselves. They're unstable. The Bible is telling you, man, you have to have your wits about yourself. You got to sit here and think before you move. Think before you act. You have to control yourself. See, that's why it's telling you to meditate in these scriptures day and night. So that way you don't have to think broad. Because once you start thinking broad, then you start being destroyed. Once you start trying to be so deep, then you start losing your way. Just stick to following the law, statutes, and commandments. Stick to what this Bible is telling you. What do we used to call the Bible? The blueprint, right? Basic instructions before what? Leaving earth. This is your history. These are your instructions. These are the things that were put on this earth for you to be able to follow, so that way you don't have to worry about being broad. You don't have to worry about trying to figure out what you should be following. The Bible is right here for you. It's your choice to either follow it or not. But you can't sit here and pick and choose when you want to. Let's go to the book of Matthew's. Matter of fact, Salakia, we're going to skip that. Yeah, go to the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 19. Because this is something that we do as people. As a people, this is something that we have a problem with, because we are taught from the beginning, when we were born in sin. We were taught to cherish things that were materialistic. We was taught to sit here and love all these things that made us look good in this earth, when the Lord didn't care about what everybody thought. Christ didn't care about what everybody thought, because he was on a mission. But we were taught to be like our oppressor. Our oppressor taught our family to forget about the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments. Forget about what he had for you. Start thinking this way, which led us into darkness. But when you come back to this Bible, what does the Bible say? Go ahead and read.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust do corrupt.
It says, lay not up what?
Yourselves treasures upon earth.
Lay not up the treasures upon this earth. What are the treasures that's upon this earth right now?
Money, cars, clothes.
Money, cars, clothes, and what else?
Oh,
What else? You right on it. What else?
homes, trips,
Exactly. You laying up all these treasures on this earth.
gluttony.
Exactly. What were we taught to do? If you had this, that you was doing good for yourself. If you had monies, if you had diamonds, if you had all this jewelry, if you had all the flyers cars, if you had the flyers houses, what? You were doing good for yourself, right? But to get those things, what did you have to do? What did you have to do? You had to. You had to sell your soul. You had to do one of you. It's a couple of things you could have done. I know a lot of people, they used to rob, steal, and unalive people to get up in this world. I know some people that used to have to, they used to have to toot that thing up at the Diddy parties to get ahead. There's other people that what? Sold their soul, did things that they were not supposed to do. That goes against everything that your Father has for you. What? Just to get the treasures of this earth. But the Bible is telling you, lay not up those things. The Bible is telling you, don't be a materialistic person. You have to be grounded. You have to understand that, you know what? These things that I was taught since birth, these things really don't matter. Because we was taught at a young age, get money, get cars, get clothes, get all these things, because you wanted everybody to like you. But our Father didn't want us. Our Father did not want everybody to like us. Literally in the Bible, it says, if the world hates you, know that it hated me first. So what is your Father telling you? Because Christ said that. In the book of Christ said it himself. I can pull the precept. Christ let you know that if the world hated you, know that it hated me first. So we were never put on this earth for everybody to like us. So when we sitting here trying to get all the celebrity, being a big hype person in this world, getting all the materialistic things for people to love us and cherish us in this world, what did we do? We sold our soul. That's why the Bible is telling us, lay not up the treasures of this earth. Where it says what? Where what? Where moth and what?
Where mouth and rust doeth corrupt.
And keep reading.
And where thieves break through and steal.
It's telling you, stop being a materialistic person. Stop trying to put all these materialistic things above following the law, statutes, and commandments. Keep reading.
Verse 20. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt.
But do what? Lay up what?
Treasures in heaven.
What is the treasures of heaven? Where it says, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven. What is that saying?
Basically, what you asked what the treasures of heaven is?
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to say the part of the laws, but that's not actually. What, to live on, or
What is the treasures of heaven? Yeah. Keep reading.
Okay. Where neither moth nor dirt nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal.
Mm-hmm.
For where your treasures is, there will your heart also. There will your heart be also.
Go based off of what I'm talking about this whole time. The lesson is being a change, right? When you came into the school, what did you want to do? You want to become what? New, right? And you wanted to also teach people how to be what? Right. So the treasure is where your heart is. You doing the law, statutes, and commandments and teaching people to do so is laying up the treasures in heaven. The treasures of this world is to do what? Get what? Money, materialistic things. But the treasures of heaven is for what? Righteousness, righteous things, teaching people to do so.
So your soul can continue.
Exactly, brother. You got to lay up the treasures in heaven where people can't come and corrupt it. People can't come and steal that from you. If you are treating your brother as you treat yourself, or you wanted somebody to treat you, what is that doing to the Most High? What is that saying? What is he seeing when he sees you do that? He's seeing brotherhood, right? He's seeing that you're following his law, statutes, and commandments, right? If he sees you teaching people not to eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, what is that? He sees you trying to save souls, all right? So what is that? You are trying to save his people. If you're teaching people to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, then you'll be great in the kingdom of heaven. But if you're teaching people to sin, then what does it say that you'll be? You'll be least in the kingdom of heaven. If you're teaching people to be materialistic and love the materialistic things, then you're going to be least. You got the precept? Go ahead. Go ahead and read.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 8, verse 22. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start a little bit. I'm gonna start at verse 19. And Jesus said unto him, why callest thou me good? None is good save one, that is God. Thou knowest the commandments: do not commit adultery, do not kill, do not steal, do not bear false witness, honor thy father and thy mother. Then the man said, verse 21, and he said, all these things I have kept from my youth up. Verse 22, now Jesus heard these things and said unto him, yet lackest thou one thing. Sell all that thou hast and distribute it unto the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven. And come and follow me. And when he heard this, he was very sorrowful, for he was very rich. And when Jesus saw that he was sorrowful, and said, how hardly shall they that have riches enter into the kingdom of God? For it is easier for a camel to go through a needle's eye than for a rich man to inherit the kingdom of God.
Does that better help?
Yeah. It just threw me out because, you know, the things of the world are material, and
Right.
the things of heaven is more within.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why it's telling you, stop trying to put up these things in earth. Because your blessings come from what? The things that you are doing to help your people. Not the materialistic things, but the spiritual things. What you got?
So and I think, okay, so do you say I'm a chef, so do I strive to get my own business? Do I strive to be the best chef, or do I like? That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's what I'm kind of getting. Like, yeah, you're not supposed to be a material thing, but do you still want to elevate in life as far as you get what I'm trying to?
I understand what you're saying.
I don't,
So this is what I'm telling you.
or do you just
I'm
make it barely? Like,
I'm not telling you that just make it barely. I'm not telling you to be poor all the rest of your life. What I'm telling you is don't let you trying to be rich come in the way of you following the law, statutes, and commandments. The work of the Lord always comes first. And as long as you have that in your mind, then you getting up there is not a problem. But your whole mindset should not be, I got to do this. I got to work. I got to do. You still got to do the work of the Lord. The work of the Lord is your first job. What you got?
And then not only that, the reason why Christ was giving him the long run of, Christ spoke in parables all the time. He's the one thing that he lacked was brotherhood. You understand? So the reason why most people are extremely wealthy is it's very rare that you come across an extremely wealthy person that is not only isolated, but all the people that quote unquote that they loved coming up, they're not surrounded by those people. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare that you see people in the entertainment or in the Forbes list that's surrounded by all the people that they came up with. I think maybe the only one that you can maybe say, I mean, but he's still wicked is LeBron. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing that everyone lacks because you're trying to be wealthy for personal gain, right? Instead, you should have a mindset like Joseph. Joseph was raised up to the second highest position in the land to save his people. Right. You never rise above the status quo of your people, right? So if you want to be wealthy, quote unquote, you need to become the biggest servant, according to God.
Right. Y'all get that brother a hand, man. That's what we have to become. We have to become what? The biggest servants. We have to become the people that, you know something that we say in the truth? If one of us get money, what? We all have it. We have to learn how to build each other up because that's the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God ain't for one of us to be, that's the brother phone. Us being in the kingdom, dog, it's not me being greater than you. It's us being great together. And that's what we got to get back to. We got to get back to understanding those things. We can't lack brotherhood just to get money. Because, matter of fact, I'm going to pull the precept. Go to 1 Timothy 6:9. This is one of the precepts we pull all the time. Go to 1 Timothy 6:9. This is right here is going to show you why you need to be careful of what you do. Mm-hmm.
all right, I got
Go ahead and read.
from the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6, verse 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare.
But what?
But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare.
Right here, based off of what we was just talking about. Everybody that wants to be rich, everybody that wants to be wealthy, everybody that wants to have all this money, what do they normally fall into?
Temptation and a snare.
Do you know what a snare is? A snare is a trap. They fall into temptations and they fall into traps. Why do you think that they fall into temptations and traps? Why do you think that they're tempted? Because they're what's going to happen?
They're going to want more.
Your oppressor wants to see how far you're willing to go to gain these riches. These demons want to see how far you'll go. So most people that think broad, most people that don't care about following the law, statutes, and commandments, what are they willing to do to get those riches?
They have to.
What are they willing to do? We know.
Yeah.
Don't you got partners that are rich in this world right now? What are they willing to do? They willing to do whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. For those that want to be rich, they always fall into temptation and snares. They always fall to traps. You want to know why? Because when you want to be rich in this world that we're living in right now, that the wicked rule, you have to sell yourself. You have to sell something of yourself that you're not going to easily get back. Because they're going to always have something over your head. They're going to always have a new thing that you need to do to be in with the in crowd. What you got, Ag? I know you about to say something. What's up?
Because it's I just think back and it's crazy you said that, because the way it happens, you have to, even for somebody to be involved with you to get to the top,
Yeah.
y'all both had a part to play.
Yeah.
So the only thing is, when you even want to get out, like say my grandma got sick and I was through.
Yeah.
Like I'm shoebox, I'm good. I could never be through because the other person wasn't through. So for me to be through, like I would be through, whether unalive or incarcerated because of their greed.
Yeah.
It started off and I see this one thing I like about being in the truth is just putting brotherhood at the forefront, because now you think about business in a different aspect. Like it's not necessarily the monetary value, is actually more of the resource value.
Right.
So versus back in the world, it was about the resource value. Yeah, I need to take care of my grandma, but it was also, man, I want this charger. I want every Jordan that come out.
Right.
I want all the game system. I want to be the man. I want to be the big homie in the community, but it was in the wrong aspect.
Right.
And when you think about it, as far as selling your soul, I think a lot of people might think about it as something formal, but it's basically somebody has to know something of what you're doing for it to go higher than where it is.
Right.
Somebody has to be involved. You can't do it with a ghost.
Right.
So when somebody is involved, they have a hold on your soul, your livelihood.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's just like being in the game. That's like just being in the game, dog. You always got somebody that you always owe. Yeah. We done all did this, bro. Everybody that wanted to be rich, what did they end up doing? You and one of your partners did what? Went to go talk to a big homie.
Started with a front.
And started off with a what? A front.
Yeah.
And once you got fronted, what did that mean?
You owe that.
You owe that. So that means everything that you about to go do right now, you already got to pay that back. Like you in debt already. And now, here on out, now you're just paying a collection game. Now all of a sudden, now you got to get fronted some more. Okay, well, you know what? After I got fronted, I made that back. Now I'm trying to sit here and I want more. But then when you're trying to make bigger money, what do you go back and tell the dude? Hey, man, double it. Yeah, look, I got your money right here for this, but now front me another one. Because what? You trying to make more and more money to the point where what? And then when something happens, you get in over your head. Something don't go right. Now all of a sudden, what? You in that trap. You in that snare because what? You was just trying to get rich quick. Now what happens? You all in this trap. You can't get out. Like you said, You done did it for so long. Now you ready to get out. Now you can't get out. Because why? You done did too good for so long. So why are you trying to get out now? You got all these people that's looking for you now. You done made all this money. You keep reeing up. You keep making sure everybody's straight. Mama got a house. Mama got a car. You got a house. You got a car. Your sister got a house, got a car. Now what everybody looking for you to do? Pay the bills, right? You got to keep food on the table for everybody now. So now you ready to get out. You ready to get out the game. What happens now? Everybody looking at you like you crazy because, man, you gonna quit what we doing right here to go back to doing that? Man, come on now. Now what mama telling you now? She don't think that you can quit now. You done did too much for her. You think she want to go back to paying bills? So now you stuck in the game. But you was trying to get out the game because what? You trying to change your life, right? But now, for you to be able to get out, you got to deal with what? I got to have that one thing. Let me hit this one time. Let me go ahead and get this big play so that way I can get out. And what happens every time somebody does that one big play so they can get out? It don't never work that way. You either get unalived or you go to jail for the rest of your life. So this is why the Bible is telling you, but the rich fall into temptation and snares. Keep reading.
Which, verse 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and snare.
Keep reading.
And into many foolish and hurtful lusts.
That's what we just talked about. Keep going.
Which drown men in destruction and perdition.
Keep reading.
Verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil.
For the what?
For the love of money is the root of all evil.
Keep reading.
Which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith.
They have erred from the faith. What is that saying right there? For the love of money is the root of all evil. And those that covet it have erred from the faith. Go ahead.
And what's heavy about this is that people misquote this all the time. People always say the love of that money is the root of all evil, but it's not money, because money is a tool. It's the love of money,
right, that
is the root of all evil, and that is what corrupts. Because you can never, if you want $1 million and like you want it just for the love of saying that I'm a millionaire, you won't be satisfied once you get that million.
Nope.
Now you're gonna want 2 million. Then 2 million ain't enough. Now you want 10 million. Now you want to find a way to try and become a billion. You'll never be fulfilled. Like, if you put your love and trust in things that aren't eternal, like the Most High God. That's why it says, first seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all of its righteousness. Then all of these things shall be added to you. Because the fulfillment that all these people missing out their life is causing them to jump off these buildings, commit mass self-unaliving, is because they not fulfilled by the Spirit of the Lord.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
For the love of money is the root of all evil, and they that covet it erred in the faith. They that put money before everything, they err in the faith. You want to know why? Because just like he said, you'll never be fulfilled if you don't seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. If you sit here and put money before everything, that means you are willing to do whatever to get money. That means that you are willing to go against your mother. You are willing to go against your people, your brothers, your sisters. You're willing to set someone up just for you to make a buck. When you love money more than you love following the law, statutes, and commandments, you're going to always err. You're going to always err You're going to always do things that keep you from the Most High God. Go ahead and finish that off.
And pierce themselves through with many sorrows.
And pierce themselves through many sorrows. You are going to deal with so much turmoil, so much hurt and pain to become that rich person. Do you know how they used to say it's lonely at the top? Why is it so lonely at the top?
Really don't know who to trust.
You don't know who.
From when I was really
Yeah.
like for real, you really truthfully don't trust anybody.
You don't trust nobody because of what?
Literally.
Everybody is for themselves, right?
Yeah.
And most of the time, for you to get at the top, what did you have to do? Yeah, you don't have to bend about yourself. So there's certain people that you had to step on or step over so that way you could get that space or you can get that spot.
Or you be there for that person for them to get you to where you need to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now that you're at the top, it's lonely because now you can't trust nobody because you think everybody is around you for what? Gain. But if you was following the law, statutes, and commandments, if you were with people that was like-minded, people that was about doing the work of the Lord, would you have to worry about that?
We're rocking for one goal.
We all got the same goal.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you got $1 million and I only got $500 to my name. We both got the same end goal. The end goal is to make sure our people are straight, make sure one another is straight. You can't do that when you are all about yourself, man. It's time for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to gather yourselves together, to come together with one common goal, and that's following the law, statutes, and commandments. Doing what the Most High God has for his people. He wants us to gather together, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and come back to following these laws, statutes, and commandments and stop putting these materialistic things before him. And with that, this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA, and we're going to say shalom.